Uh-oh. Alrighty, welcome back, everyone. Pick My Soul Alive here. Good to be back. As always, Rex Kehoe alongside with Patrick Crowley. Got a pretty fun topic today. We are talking about the NYSERDA rebate. So very specific. If you live in New York, you're thinking about going solar, definitely tune in. This is going to be a good topic. We're going to walk you through what the rebate is and kind of get down into the details on exactly how it actually works, how we calculate things and all that. So this is deep dive number 56. All right. So the NYSERDA rebate. So this is the megawatt block. So tell us a little bit about kind of how this this rebate is allocated and all that.
Yeah. So right now the block we're looking at the ConEdison block here. They're currently in block 8 and 30 cents per DC watt. And so it's pretty simple. If you have a 10 kilowatt system, it's gonna be $3,000 rebate. And what the block is a certain allocation of funds, and as you'll see on a couple slides later, that there's different blocks that get filled, and then you go to the next block. And so these rebates started, way back in 2014, beginning of 2014, and started at $1 a watt. Now it's gone down and down and down and down. We've made it all the way to block 8. There are only 9 blocks in the ConEdison rebate. We anticipate this one filling up a little bit towards the end of the year, and then after that, block 9, and then after that might be exhausted. So, obviously there were better times to do it, but there's no better time than the present.
Yep, absolutely, good point. Okay. So this is just a little bit of a kind of a hierarchy of how this rebate works. So you have NYSERDA, the NYSUN, which is specific to the solar rebate, and then the megawatt block, which Patrick just went over there.
Right. Yes, this is important too, because you're going to have 3 different regions within your block. And so ConEdison, that's Westchester County, New York City, Long Island, pretty self-explanatory. And upstate New York is everything else. A lot of people think of upstate just as Albany and the surrounding areas, but
anything north of
anything non-ConEdison and non-Long Island, which will be PSEG, Long Islander.
Yep.
In most cases.
Yep. Okay. Okay, so ConEdison, there's some charts here. So the residential, so this is block 8. We're at 30 cents per watt in ConEdison. So upstate, it's actually more, it looks like, huh?
It's 35, yeah.
Okay.
Both, I believe, are stepping down to 20 in block 9, though. And so the upstate, that we're not quite sure when that one's going to fill up, but I'm kind of predicting the ConEdison one to be somewhere around late November, early December to fill up. When we were closing in block 7, I was about 2 weeks off.
Yeah, that's true.
So
you did predict that pretty well.
Yeah, so we'll lock in on this in the middle of the summer again, give you guys an update, see where we're at. If we're still tracking about that same pace, then we can be pretty sure. And claiming the rebate is important, so you don't think you can go straight up till December and still get that rebate. I don't know if you wanted to touch on
when you actually have to have it.
How do you qualify for this rebate?
Yeah, so very good point. So, obviously you're going to need to have a signed solar agreement in place, and then to actually secure this rebate, the installer is going to have to confirm, and I think we're going to get into the details here, but they're going to have to confirm the shading on the property so that when we actually are submitting this for the rebate, we have accurate numbers. Obviously, NYSERDA is going to want to make sure that when they're allocating, these funds, that this is an efficient system that they're installing. They want to make sure that it's going to be pushing back the energy that we're expecting it to. So you basically would need to have a signed agreement. The installer is going to have to come out to your house, take the shade readings, report that all back, and then submit it. So I would say, if you're thinking about going solar, you need to give yourself at least a month, maybe even 2 months to be on the safe side. To actually get into a solar agreement.
Gotcha. All right. Good to know.
Okay, so system losses. So we're looking at here, and this is what I was just touching on, the TSRF, the total solar resource factor?
Fraction?
It's fraction.
It is.
Man, I was way off on that. Okay, so fraction. So if it is below 80%, this is going to reduce your overall rebate by whatever percentage it is. So if you have, an overall TSRF of 70%, we're going to take 70%, that gets multiplied by what your total dollar amount rebate would have been for the rebate, and then you get 70% of that rebate.
Right.
So shading orientation loss, here we go. So we got a couple of examples here. So I think we can kind of maybe just dive into a little bit of the details. I mean, tell us how the TSRF works, how it's calculated.
Yeah, so TSRF there's a lot of factors that go into it, but basically the gist of it is, with your solar system in your location, what is the ideal tilt orientation, and then with your house, with your shade, what does your site do to change that? Right. And then the percentage is an indication of that. So if you have the perfect orientation, perfect tilt, and no shade, you would have 100% TSRF. And
you're going to get 100% of the maximum rebate that you could get.
And you would also, and if you had 80% TSRF, you'd get 100% of your rebate. So that's an important distinction. But if you get 79, you get 79%. So the difference between 80% and 79% TSRF is 21% rebate.
Right.
So it can get tight. And so we'll take a look at these images here. This low TSRF option here on your left, that is a rebate. The TSRF on these two roof planes combined about 67%. And so you're going to see both on this, the trees there to the left, trees to the right, the fact that you're dealing with a little bit of a northern tilt, or northern azimuth, a little bit on that eastern array,
right.
And then the shade, it's not a surprise that this one's clocking a low TSRF.
Right.
The example on the right here is going to show you multiple TSRFs. So we put panels here on these northern planes just to kind of put a little comparison here. But those southern planes and the western planes, the southeast and the southwest, those ones are a little bit above 80, right? And so if those are the only roof planes you were working with, you would get that full rebate. When you add in these other ones, those northeastern, looks like a little bit of shade as well.
Yep.
Those TSRFs they're even lower than the one we have on the left. Those are closer to the 55, 60 range.
So that's going to drop down the overall.
Right. So the other arrays, we're looking at just over 80%. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a blended TSRF. So we're taking in the number of panels for each roof plane, the TSRF on those roof planes, and then kind of mashing it all together, figuring out what the whole system's TSRF is. This particular case, if you went northern, you'd knock those panels off.
Yep.
And so in the end, this person, with the amount of panels that they have there, you're probably still going to get a higher offset, better savings by doing that. But going on to the north, it's not as efficient anyway. So this person's going to have to make a decision between, do I want to be as autonomous from the grid as possible,
right,
or do I want the most efficient and maximized savings per panel,
right,
which would likely be a lower offset, and then they'd have to rely on the grid. So that's the decision this customer's going to have to make.
Absolutely. No, that's a very good point. All right, so that's pretty much it. I mean, that's how we calculate the TSRF. That's how we're going to calculate the rebate. Obviously, it can get a little bit complex, especially when you have so many roof planes like that. We're happy to do that for you. As always, pick my solar, competing solar solutions from top providers. Come to our website. We're going to look at your specific rooftop, figure out what solar system would be best for you, figure out all these rebates for you. And then we have local installers in New York, other parts of the country as well, that we will have bid on the project. We're going to get you multiple bids and give you the top 3 to choose from. So pretty straightforward what we do here. Again, if you have any questions, email us, call us. We love talking solar. We'll help you out any way that you guys want. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.